Usijikaze kufurahishana, ishi maisha yako we kijana. Tafuta yako usiku na mchana, kama kuna kafi usikae sana. Usimtusi mzazi upate laana, tena usiwe mzoefu wa kugombana. Akisema umefanya basi umefanya, na usiwe mzoefu wa kukana. Ukikosolewa sema asante sana. Muombe amani atakaye kulaani, tena ukiomba usikose imani. Ile ya mwenzako usije tamani, saka zile zako zilizo za thamani. Usiweke roho yote kwa kusaka mali, na wakati wa kusaka zungumza kilami, sababu ukikosa utakanyaga lami. Tena usome sana ustake usanii, kwa mtu wa maana kwenye hii jamii. Yo, welcome to the Dricks Pod, where I review the week's nonsense. From politics to sports to pop culture, no subject is spared. Let's go. Hello and welcome back to the Dricks Pod, the show where we review weekly nonsense from politics to sports to pop culture and even your favorite religion. We do not care, we will go after it and we do not take it that seriously. Today I am joined by a few friends of mine, my neighbors. They have joined me. They want to get their voices heard because it's all about creating a platform. It's all about giving people the opportunity to rant when they wish to rant. And so this is the opportunity. So I am Joe, and I will let my co-hosts for today introduce themselves, starting with the lady in the back.
Oh, hi guys. Not so good, but yeah, I'm Njeri. That's all I can say. Nationwide, Njeri Nation. Yeah, I got a whole nation. Yeah.
My name is Norris. Norris Mange. Yeah, sure. So welcome to the community.
Yeah. We are hoping Njeri can lead her nation better than this nation is being led right now. But we're not going to discuss that.
Oh yes, trust me on that. Trust me on that.
We're not going to discuss that right now. So anyway, you guys, a lot has happened over the past 1 week, and that's why we're here. I was chilling with his boy last week. He was not available for today's episode, but I was chilling with him, and we were talking about the fact that if these things didn't happen, then we would not be talking about them. So the fact that they have happened are the major reason why we are here. And there's a lot has happened. There have been murders, killings, false accusations, and but that's why we're here to talk about them. And top on the list, because we have a country that is seemingly getting more mediocre by the minute. But anyway, top on the list is a funny story. I would term it as funny, but I don't know how anyone else would take it. Some people would take it as blasphemous, but to me it's funny. There is a man in Bungoma. I don't know why my people in Western are always doing this to me, but anyway, it's fine. There was a man in Bungoma known as Mwalimu Yesu Tongarem, who has come out on social media for last week and this week also, who was claiming that he is Jesus. He himself is Jesus, and the miracles that he has to back it up are that his followers say that he's able to convert water into tea.
Tea, chai, no lies.
I'm not even playing. I'm not even playing. I'm serious. This is something that was legit said by his followers in that interview I was watching. So what is your opinion on these things? Do you think that the Messiah has finally arrived?
If I may, I think we're having our Nyoni tragedy again. I mean, this is the same stuff that happened in the millennium. This is the same stuff we saw someone calling himself God, and I think people are just smoking too much. I mean, I will not lie. Whatever blunt they're hitting seems to be quite advanced, because in all logic, it makes no sense to me. But again, I mean, that's my thought. But when you think about it, let's see. So you say you can turn water into tea. I mean, literally tea. And I don't sound tribal or anything, but considering from where it is, the community, we do understand from experience and plus fact, you do not have a conversation without tea. So the fact there's no tea and it can convert from water to tea, that's a problem. That's a problem. So I'm seeing a big problem. Everyone playing blasphemy in the whole different levels. But for me, I mean, we just have another Wanyonyi who died. I mean, we even had to marry the snake. Again, interesting enough, also from the same side. I have no beef with no community.
No, we are not beefing with any communities, but you know.
But it seems to be a pattern again that happened within that side. So we tend to understand something is happening with these guys. I mean, let me not even forget, we had a lady who got married to a Holy Spirit.
Oh no.
Again.
Oh no. Oh
so, again, same thing. And that made sense. And then last I checked, she was actually arrested. So I tried to understand how the Holy Spirit, the husband, allowed the wife, human, to be arrested and how they married. I mean, when we think we've seen enough drama and enough moments of what seems to be a common thing. I think people are just waking up in the morning and just choosing to be crazy. Or Jerry, back it up.
What do you think?
What do I think? I think kwanza nahitaji kuona hiyo chai.
You need to.
I need to see this tea.
You need to see this tea first.
Because man, what? I'd call it blasphemous. Cause bro, unaamkaje tu asubuhi? Ama ni sisi tunaona aliamka asubuhi.
Yeah, it's been happening for some time. It's just that it's come to the light now. Because he has a huge following.
How long is a long time?
I don't know. Because I don't know. I didn't really watch much of I wasn't really focused on the interview as much because I was busy laughing and wondering what the hell is going on. So I don't really know how long he's been running his church. I don't know. But all
he has a church, oh no.
He has a church.
Oh no.
He has a
They've been drinking tea like why?
They've been drinking tea, man. And holy tea.
Well, man, me by this sina maoni. I disagree to isi bangi because man, a lot of people smoking weed to speak honestly. Na Miss John mtu akiamka akisema, I am the Lord Jesus and I'm converting the water to tea. Water to tea.
Bangine kilongo vitu mingi sana.
Siangalau aongeze maji, you know, with the constant drought. Aongeze multiply the water. Go hit the rock if you want to be Jesus, go hit the rock.
Itoe maji.
Yes, na isikuwe bitter, please.
Please.
We don't need some Moses shit again. He even got punished. He got punished. Please, we just need clean water. Tuongeze mimea, wachana na chai.
Man, help us.
Yes. Stop lying to your people. Why?
With
tea.
Chai. For real?
Chai yako iko na maji, tuanze. No beef though. Oh, si chai iko na sukari.
But
no beef.
In my opinion, I just think that, and I say this to a lot of people, including like my friends when I chill with them, I tell them that as a country, we love mediocrity. Like we've embraced mediocrity so much as a country. Like anything that is mediocre, it pulls us in like a moth to a flame.
Yeah.
We just love things that are mediocre. And I was giving this example to a friend of mine yesterday when we were talking about the same issue. I was telling him that my dad used to say, do you remember there was a time we had a lot of terrorist attacks and whatever, and bombs were going off all over?
Yeah.
So my dad was in town one time, and then a bomb went off. So like, he knows the bomb has gone off from this side. He starts running towards the other side. He's running away from the bomb. But as he's running away from the bomb, he's meeting other people who are running towards the bomb. And he's like, where are you guys going? Let's go this way. Let's leave the people who are supposed to be working on that bomb.
Let's go the other way.
Let's go this way.
The way is this way.
So like it's something that it's becoming even more prominent amongst like Kenyans, where even content that is mediocre, you find that is the content that has the most likes. So if this person now says, I am Jesus, and he gets coverage on news, national news and even local news, his following is not going to decrease. I assure you now.
I'm wondering what kind of publicity is it though?
Any publicity is good publicity.
I mean, we had the TZ guy. I'm forgetting the name. It starts with an L, I think. I remember the guy who people used to go up this mountain and you have this so-called tea, also some liquid drink.
It's all about tea.
Like liquid. Okay, some people drink. But the irony was, people actually flew from other countries to Tanzania. I don't remember the name. It was called Dr. Sam.
I remember the name.
And so what to do fine. And at first I would have said that would be an African problem. But man, we saw people from the developed countries rolling into the country, going up the mountain to drink some stuff that made no sense. So I guess where we've reached as not only as a country, but when we go extreme, let's leave our country. Let's look at other advanced countries. Our brothers and sisters from states, we've seen this to be Western. A common trend.
Yeah.
Whereby within the Western countries, where we are thinking, okay, so maybe this is civilized, but we've noticed sad patterns of how many people, I'm forgetting the name, but this gentleman ended up, it should be in Guyana if I'm not wrong, where people actually died, and he gave them some so-called prayers and everything, and people just believe. So we've reached a point, sadly, where I keep saying this, the truth is being compromised for the lie, and the lie is being sold as a truth. People want to believe. I guess we've reached a point as people and nations and societies where we've decided, well, you know what, I don't want to believe. If I show you this is a banana, and we're 10 people in the room, and on the picture is an apple, but we keep saying it's a banana, and we're like 10 of us, and we're 10 of us, and let's say you're the 11th person, and everybody says that apple is a banana. Guess what? Everybody would believe it's a banana. But you know very well, that's clearly an apple. So the problem we do have is people want to believe what makes sense in their head. Because when you put the facts, and let's bring it back to the, let's try and be religious on this one to an extent. Okay. He claims to be. So let's test him. Let's test him.
Yes, please. I want your tea.
By his works. Let's test by his root. Why does he need the coverage? Jesus actually didn't have much coverage. Let's think about it. Most of the things he did were done by Paul, eventually. And Paul was actually killing.
But you know what the Bible says about testing your God? The Bible says, do not test your God. So the people...
Listen, there's a difference. I'm going to attack this man.
On how you approach the word test. You see, for me, you're not testing. We're talking about the individual, his claim. Us as the people listening, as the audience, we test him, not God. Him is testing God. I mean, that's between him and God. That's a rat. We don't want any.
We're not getting into
we're not getting to that nitty-gritty. We're about us being the people asking the right questions. Asking, hey, dude, you call yourself Jesus. Cool. Where were you when COVID-19 hit? Where were you when people putting on masks? Wait, let me just remember. We had Dr. Awol, right?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Mr. Awol. He went all missing with his platoon of friends. Remember the clip whereby he's in a helicopter and then he tells his people, you guys, you roll. I'm rolling. It was a red helicopter. And the guy is out of this environment in an helicopter. These guys are allowed to figure it out on their own. Where was he, for example, as an example?
Mostly where was he during the COVID?
Everybody went silent.
Mimi ningetaka hiyo chai yake time ya COVID.
So I mean, this is just another guy.
You want the tea.
Calling for the fame, but it's just another. And the sad story is the fact that he's going to get so many followers who will believe him, who will cry to him, who will worship him. Next, you sit and think, okay, where did we go wrong? How far off the rail have we fallen? Because we seem to be picking what is wrong, and the lie has been made the truth. But the fact is, the lie will forever be the lie. So, I mean, from my perspective, I mean, I wouldn't even say God has to hit him. I'm just saying his own people will just chew him up.
Because, just to end that, on that, because...
No, wait.
It's a
Okay.
It's a discussion that will never really end.
Yeah.
I read a small paper, by Union Theology, on the characteristics of false preachers. And because this is a platform that is supposed to be educative and whatnot, I will leave a link down in the description for you guys to also go read up on the 7. It's a 2-page paper. It's
2 pages.
Yeah, it's only 2 pages.
It's trustful to go. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So it's just a 2-page thing, and it has the 7 characteristics of false preachers. But it's also in the Bible. But because I know you guys are not reading the Bible like that, just hit up that link. Go and read up on the 7 characteristics of false preachers. And if your pastor fits the description, hama yo kanisa.
Please.
Do yourself the favor. Usingoje chai ya service kuisha. Hama kanisa. Roll out quickly.
Also, to finish on that, I think we need, I wouldn't say more people. We'll need at least that one person who can recognize that, oh, this is a lie. We don't, because clearly we are having this one liar and is getting a lot of followers. I think we'd also need this one opposing team who's like, you're such a liar, and we need followers to follow this, who's pointing fingers, you're such a liar.
We are a religious people, and
yes, please.
Yeah, so we often don't. We have a certain fear of attacking, questioning that which we term as religious. But anyway, that is a discussion for another time. Yeah. Moving on to more national matters. I was watching the news yesterday, and Treasury CS Njuguna Ndongo yesterday announced during a board meeting of the budget planning committees and whatever. He said that tough times lie ahead for Kenyans, especially during this 2023, that things are not looking good even now, and based off of their own examinations and whatever, that things are going to get tougher for Kenyans this year. I want to get you guys' take on this thing, starting with
gays. I think what he's saying is, I don't know if people need to hear that things are going to get tougher, because things are already tough.
People want to hear the truth.
Yes, we do.
We've just come from discussing why the truth is so important.
Yeah, but we need a little hope. At least atuonyeshe.
How can we be given hope when there is none?
That's a very tough question.
There is no hope to be given.
And clearly we can. I think the worst part is we can see that there's no hope. The budgeting, no. Because if he says that we need to clear our previous projects, and we already have, they're already pending, and we already have a big debt. I think he should suggest what we should do.
One of the things that he suggested was like we need to reduce the national and county government's wage bill, because we're at 900 billion when we can only cover about 600 billion. So like we have a deficit of 300 billion in terms of like the wage bill.
I like the way we are working with billions.
So we are at a deficit of about 300 billion. And so some of the money that was supposed to be used for other things is going into the wage bill, paying salaries and whatever, in excess of 300 billion. So some 300 billion that we are short of is being pulled from other things into this. So he was suggesting that we need to reduce the wage bill, but he didn't really say how. He just said we need to reduce the wage bill. And that's kind of the problem. That's one of the problems that we're having. We
knowing our leaders.
We have a president that says we need to reduce our borrowing, but he doesn't really say how. He just says, no, we need to work on our borrowing. Yay. But he doesn't really say how that is supposed to happen. So, Bush, what's your take?
For me, it's quite simple. If accountability was accountability, then we will not be in the problem we are in. The sad thing, when they claim or when they suggest that we need to reduce this and this and this, who's suffering? The taxman. And the taxman is you and I, who are trying to make ends meet. And the sad story is, this is a game they play from year on year. They take more loans. They have no accountability. I remember there's a time Kenyans actually got involved. I think it should be our former president, when he was, I think it was IMF. I don't remember it's World Bank or IMF. There was like a virtual meeting, and Kenyans actually all, through their comments are like, do not give us a loan. And should be 2022. I think we were almost clearing the loan of 10 years, a decade prior, for the Eurobond. And the sad story about our country is we keep taking. SGR is only loaned out vis-a-vis a collateral bill, Mombasa Port, which is our hub. We look at even what the employers, I'm sorry, no beef, but I mean, it's just one country. They're the same. So it breaks my spirit every moment. I keep asking myself, when does it ever end? There's no accountability. Corruption. When you go to any government agency, you must have a top-up. You cannot work. So I think about this old lady in her 80s who was there during the times of, who went through the coup, who went through the Mau Mau, and she walks up to this place and she needs help with her land, and she cannot be able to get a piece of land or any assistance, she must have a top-up. Every government agency we go to, we must have a top-up. So it's sad because at the end of the day, we keep encouraging these people to keep doing this. So they will always tell us we need to run. Fine. Okay, why are we running? Okay, you telling me that we need to throw a stone. Why am I throwing it?
We need the wise
so
in the house.
We're not asking the 5 wise. We're not putting people into proper accountability. People can easily wake up, steal. Let's look at COVID billionaires. I mean, when Dennis Sakaj pulled it up, what happened eventually? His life was in danger. He had to go missing. What happened eventually? The states had to freeze the funding, but did the state not proceed? They did. They did proceed, and the funds did proceed. Even after Kenya's, I think, IMF World Bank, I can't remember which is which. But despite, it should be around 200-something million. And despite how much Kenyans cried out and said, stop this, we do not have the money. The government says. So what we do have actually is this. And sad, every government that comes into power, what's the first thing every first 2 weeks? Every time the parliament is open, all the MPs ask for an extra. And the same thing they did with the current speaker, it's the same thing they do. They always want. But when they come on the ground, nobody gives a damn. So it's easy for Mr. Treasury here to say, oh yeah, stop that funding. But how much money, how much tap is leaking in our government system? In billions. But Mama Mboga's been told right there to go, remove her 5 shillings, tax another extra. She has not even made a cut. She's not even broken even. No one right now is breaking. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
no one is breaking even. It does not matter the businesses we have. We are all trying. And that's why one day we wake up and we shut a business. Not because we do not want to, but we don't have the money. That's why when you listen, when you find out that we have so many Kenyans, I'm sorry to say, that we are stuck on mobile loans, is not because we want to. But the system has failed us. And despite the many times they'll come and put up all this, oh no, this is the burden, oh we blacklist, they're the same people screwing us over.
It's the same people.
So, I mean, when you look at it, I mean, I just tell Mr. CS, screw you.
Yeah.
Easy. That is basically all he's saying is, having said all of that, Mr. CS.
No, I have a question. Why are they telling Kenyans that they take new number plates? I have a question, because hadi mimi niliuliza na dadangu and I'm like, why? Because tuanze na huduma number. All the resources huduma number mpaka wakakuja in schools, in high schools. Oh, you need to take your huduma number. If you don't, hekaya. Stories za jaba mko nazo huku. Stories za jaba mko nazo huku.
They're hating too much of that, of that illegal stuff.
Yeah. Give us the house. Give us the house and the wives.
Not just the do it. Don't just give us the command.
Not some statements mmetoka na kizungu.
Actually, they've actually made Kenya, sadly, we're actually watching in a theater. We are the audience and they're the actors. And so they're giving us the storyline according to how they want us to believe. And we are here laughing. We've been placed at a place where we're supposed to laugh at their jokes. But we know there's no joke. So all I would say is, the same way they have a voice claiming to give a damn about us, let them use the same voice, put the proper accountability, hold everyone accountable, and then we'll get sorted out. But guess what? We're in 2023. We have 2 years to go. Before this term ends, they'll have screwed us over. By the time the next term ends, they'll screwed us over. So let them preach what they say.
Yeah. A challenge to them, wasikie aibu. 2030 nafika tu kama Kibaki haoni vision yake. Mtu asikie aibu. You politicians, tafadhali. Lalo ukisikia aibu.
But we promise you guys, we are not beefing with you. No, we are.
Yes. Everyone's beefing with you.
Mic drop. Yeah. Onto again, national matters. And this is not even supposed to be an issue. Most people would consider it a non-issue because... But anyway, I just want to get you guys' opinions on this thing. So recently, there has been an ongoing spat between Rigathi Gachagua, the deputy president, and Johnson Sakaja, the governor of Nairobi County, over the changes that Sakaja is trying to make to Nairobi County. You know, he recently began a ban on like nightclubs over sound levels and whatever. And then he moved on from nightclubs because he had that card already. And then, he's working to get that card. And then moved on to, the buses, the matatus, where he wants to get them out of the CBD. But then Gachagua, has intervened or is trying to intervene with, the changes that Sakaja is trying to make. He recently went on, when he was opening a Wi-Fi center in a market somewhere, I can't remember the place, I think it was Njeri. So he went on and said that it is us Kikuyus who elected Sakaja. We came together, we campaigned for him, and we elected him. And he cannot
shame on them.
and he cannot then treat us like this. And he has to understand that is not how Nairobi works. And we shall sit down with him to tell him, to show him how Nairobi works. And then Sakaja was like, no, that was how Nairobi used to work. That's not how it's going to work now. And I'm going to make my changes the way I want to make my changes, and you are not going to get in my way, So, it's a spat that isn't really supposed to be happening, because there's the national government and there's the county government, and those two things are supposed to work in harmony. But
it's a spat that doesn't make sense, because, this,
Rigathi.
Yes. He's not making any sense.
Rigiji force.
He's not making any sense. Mbona anataka to back is stagnant. His vision is supposed to be seeing Kenya moving forward. Kenya looking like a developing country. Currently, we're not looking like we're developing. Tunakaa ni kama actually tuko underdeveloped. And we are among the most developed countries in Africa. Why, mbona, sasa what do I have to tell you, Mr. Man, kule umekaa, kwa sababu mimi sioni make sense. Mbona ukatae nyumba yako ikuwe safi? Ni kama unataka kuingia kwa nyumba yako upate kuna matope, kuna karatasi, sahani zinafaa kuwa kitchen, ziko sitting, vitunguu na matakataka tu zimejaa. What is your problem? Because all I'm seeing is Sakaja is trying to make Nairobi look representable. And I'm not seeing ni kama anatumia a lot of funds cleaning up a town. Look at Nakuru. Mbona Nairobi sky kama Nakuru? I've recently been to Nakuru. The way it was 2010, it still looks the same right now. Anafaa kwa Rigiji ende uchukue notes uko tafadhali alafu ukuje. Tafadhali, please.
Norris.
I think for Rigiji, my biggest issue with the deputy is quite simple. He's stuck on tribal grounds. We are over what? We I think 42, going 43. I think we are the Asians going for the 43rd. I don't know if it was approved. I do not know how that went. But the fact is, they are using tribal. So let's put it simple. So yes, they say one tribe, one ethnic ground, chose person A. Okay. What about the other 43? Why are we basing our logic on tribal grounds? 2, we're talking about change. Who benefits at the end of the day? Mr. Investor over there, when he comes into their country and he gets mad and he cannot tell which road person A or person B went, how are we making it a better country? I'll never forget, this should be 5 years ago, when this should be either the NY, it was within the security department, agency. Within Nairobi should be the AP, and they're trying to come up with interesting. They were trying to come up with a new way of curbing theft. So the idea was they were to be trained here at Aga Khan Walk, how to use skateboards. Yeah, sounds crazy. And I was trying to imagine. They actually did. And they're trying
to roller skates. I think.
No, the roller skates.
I was curbing thieves.
Yeah. So idea was with this man here, roller skates.
Mediocrity.
So let's look at Nairobi before even Sonko started working on it properly. Let's look at it then. I'm trying to imagine Tagwan running around stall. I mean, literally, I didn't even stop and just punch you. Just, I don't even need to struggle. You just fall, So we have that problem where, like I said again, Kenya, sadly, we're being put as a place of audience, whereby the government is the actor. And when I look at Sakaja, I feel for him. Cause why did we all go to school? Why do we push for changes? Why do we want to be better? Why do we benchmark? Because we are seeing the reality. Nobody wants to walk. And on the right side, let's go to Marikiti. When you walk down that end, around the roundabout, you have to walk looking left and right. you're never sure when you move to the right-hand side, someone can mark you on the right. And this is a market where I'm supposed to go buy whatever I need to go and go. So Nairobi, we're walking looking over our shoulders. I mean, what happens when the security agencies are having a bad day in office? What do? They pull back. What happens? We get robbed in broad day. Right now in Nairobi, people are not even using their phones.
And sometimes, as in the case of, I saw this report in the news like 2 days ago, even the police are now robbing the people. It's amazing. Like,
wow, I haven't seen that one.
I swear, the police. There was a report. This guy was going to exchange. He was going to the Forex Bureau to get to switch out his money, like 2.5 million Kenya shillings, and he almost got mugged by the police. It's incredible, but
it's amazing.
It's amazing.
Beautiful. I mean, guys, he's supposed to protect you. He's thieving from you.
So Ricky G needs to just chill out, go back to the drawing board, and realize he's a deputy president. To really, he has a role to make change into their country. We don't give a damn about tribal grounds. It's not helping anybody. I mean, who was in power? Did everybody in the mountain say they were happy? No. They complained. Now Ruto is in power. Let's work as people who think beyond. This tribal mindset only was there back in the days, back in 97. And we've seen what it has done. We saw what it happened in 2007. We are not those people who want to go back to tribal grass. It takes us nowhere. So I would really think Rikiji could just sit, work. I mean, he's an elder to Sakaja. They can sit and agree to disagree, you know. But the fact that he's using his position to undermine in broad daylight, this is not going to happen. The fact is simple. Sakaja would win.
I'm also like, why is he not seeing the sense? Because like we do need a clean city.
We do need a clean
we really need a clean city because even an investor akikuja anataka kuona this is a well established place.
This is a place worth investing.
Yeah, hadi juzi nilikuwa kwa gari with some Nigeria and he's like, one day I am going to kill a Kenyan because these Kenyans are thieves. Thieves. Huh?
To big man Rigiji, I will say to you,
yes, please.
We are a people that are guided by the law. And especially when you are campaigning, you are like, oh yeah, we will respect the constitution and we will do this. So I will remind you that we are people that are guided by the law. And Article 174 of the Constitution.
Wow.
Your boy can read. Your boy can read.
The Constitution.
Yeah, so Article 174 of the Constitution outlines that the objects of devolution of government are 1, to foster national unity by recognizing diversity. And by diversity, they mean cultures, they mean tribes, meaning it's not only Kikuyus that go to vote, Mr. Big Man. It is every other tribe that is in Nairobi. Yeah. So, and then number 2 is to recognize the right of communities to manage their own, their own affairs and to further their own development. Meaning, we have given Sakaja the powers for him to make the decisions that will go towards our own benefit. And if we feel...
Yes. It's his town.
It's his town. And if we feel that those decisions are not going to benefit us, we are going to then order for him to be recalled. But until then, please, Mr. Mans, please stay away from national county government. And Sakaja, stand your ground. You'll be fine.
Mambo yako ni national.
Yes.
Si county. Tafadhali.
As President Ruto would say, Mr. Sakaja, you have God and you have the people.
Yes. We as the people. We are behind you.
Yes.
We're behind you.
Right before we get into other subjects, this is just a small topic that I wanted to discuss. Recently, the LSK based in Western counties has come out to decry the number of rising cases in the number of rising cases in rising murder cases in Kisii County. Because like every other day you are hearing
someone
about
someone is being
slashed. A father has killed a son has killed a father, a witch, an old woman has been accused of being a witch and has been burnt. Kids having their eyes gouged out.
Why a kid though?
Why a kid? So a lot has been happening in Kisii County. What do you guys think of this whole situation? What do you think can just quick takes, 30-second takes as we move on to the next topic. What do you think should happen? What do you think is the problem?
What do I think should happen? I don't know. Can we increase? Will security help? No.
Not really.
Not really.
Not really.
Cause sasa niambie mbona mtoto alikuwa anatolewa macho. Hii ilikuwa ina happen wapi mtoto kungolewa macho? Oh my God, Kisii mtueleze. What is your problem?
What's going on?
Please. Inaka it's among you guys. Cause mi kwanza hiyo ya mtoto nilisikia it was something to do with some uchawi baba yao sijui alikuwa amefanya nini. I didn't get the story clear. I was flabbergasted all my days. I don't know what you should do.
I think
I think for me it's quite simple. We need to sanitize the area. I'm just
How?
saying. I'm just
How?
saying. This is something.
We need the house. We need the house.
You also tell us how. How do you plan?
The house.
This is I'm thinking. Quite simple. These are the facts that are happening. They have the nyumba kumis. They have their chiefs. Let them put the meeting. Let them call it out as it is. Because this is the true reality. They won't stop killing until they address the issue. There is an issue. There is an issue of social depravity. There is an issue of ethical and values and virtues being put under the carpet. That is an issue. Let them call it as it is. Because the first thing about handling the truth is facing the truth as it is, facing the problem. Until they move to that phase, guess what, man? They're going to burn it up.
I think it just comes down to, in my opinion, a mental health issue.
Mental health. Uchawi na mental health.
Number one, mental health issue. Number two, it's about like literacy levels.
Okay, literacy, I do agree.
Literacy levels, because to some point we keep saying that, we have to maintain our cultures and there's stuff about cultures. But also, if people also need to understand that yes, there are cultures, and even within cultures and practical and traditional practices and stuff, there are also good practices. And there are also bad practices. Case in point, FGM. Case in point, burning old women, old widows, just because you think they are witches. So.
I'm thinking also that they should face their consequences. Sijui kama wana enforciwa juu sasa kama ushosho mwenye alimtoa macho alifanyiwa nini? We need peke yake.
I think the way I'm looking at it is quite simple. It's even a look at that case for the young little child who lost her eyes to this crazy grandma. The thing is, at the end of the day, they will go to court. And there's one thing I'll never forget. One person once said, I was actually in a court, and this person once said, I have no problem killing because I know I'll have food.
Kai.
I forgot that. That should be Kikulo. I will never forget. Actually, I sat around criminals. I didn't know. And everybody has been called. I'm sitting there with the three guys who've been called to do an inquiry. And I'm like, wait a minute. And you see, so I remember a case whereby someone actually just cut off someone's hand. Neighbor just got into this guy is someone who can really knock him out. But the thing the guy did, I just couldn't believe it. So I don't know, man. I want to base it on literacy. In consideration too, we have 47 counties. We have the depth of these counties. We not only Kisii, we have Ukambani, we have all these communities within the 47 counties. We cannot base it in terms of literacy. Because you choosing being primitive has two ways. You can be educated but you can still be primitive. You can have all the education. Don't you see that? We see 3/4 of these so-called interesting false characters. They are learned people, but they do weird stuff. And they get justified for that. So I think for me, within that case, is simple. Let people be held accountable. Let it start from the zero. And the measures to be so strict that
they need to be
they understand that you dare try. And this is what you get. But I don't know. But that's messed up.
Yeah, that's very messed up. Wakisi tafadhali. Sisi tuko na beef, ni nyinyi mnajiletea.
So before we move on to the next topic, I have a segment, 2 segments called, one is called Dricks Recommends, where I recommend something for you guys to do over the course of this week until we meet up for the next episode. And then number 2 is called Last Week in History. So I would like to start with Last Week in History, where we look at events that happened during the prior week historically. I usually have a saying, I say we cannot look into what will happen historically next week because I might not be there. You never know. So
you
never know. So last week in history, January 3rd, 1977, Apple Computer is incorporated. It becomes Apple Inc. Then January 4th, 1954, Elvis Presley records his first demo.
Yay, Elvis! Albums.
Have you watched the movie?
No.
Go watch
I will. Also, Njeri recommends. Go watch the movie.
Then, again, January 4th, 2010, the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world, opens its doors officially. And then, January 5th, 1933, work gets started on the Golden Gate Bridge.
Oh.
In the US of A. And then January 8th, 1961, Algeria gains independence from France.
Yay, Algeria. Let's go, Africa.
They never sorted their issues, man. Algeria, France, they're still going on each other.
They're still going at each other.
That independence never happened.
And now it's time.
Just whispering.
It's now time for Dricks Recommends. And this week I'll be recommending just one very simple thing. It's an album by Miss Lauryn Hill. It's called The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Do you listen to LaurynIl? I know
you don't want to know the music.
I know you listen to classics.
Okay.
I know you listen to classic hip hop. Have you ever listened to a song by? You don't know that thing. I
think I've heard that.
Yeah,
one.
so that is one of the songs from the album. It's called Do Whoop or That Thing. It's a classic album historically, and even in terms of like just hip hop culture, it became a massive influence towards hip hop culture. The songs from the album have been sampled over and over again by even today's hip hop stars and other musical stars. So it's an album I would recommend in case you are someone that is into classic hip hop, and if you are someone that is just trying to get into classic hip hop, that would be my first recommendation, along with a few other albums that I would recommend in the future. Norris, do you listen to classic hip hop?
Yeah, sure. I mean, Lauryn Hill, that's the time he was with. I'm forgetting his name. This guy's
The Fugees.
Icon. The Fugees, yeah.
The Fugees.
Yeah, I'm familiar with him.
This guy knows his stuff.
Yeah.
Killing me.
I also do recommend. I mean, that's when songs were songs.
Yeah, that's
when we had
Lauryn
songs.
Hill.
Before we had the trash we have.
Yeah. When music was music.
When music was music. Before the music doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. So that does it for part 1 of our show, and now we are moving into part 2.
Woo!
Things are about to get heated up in this building. So we shall see you in.
Hey, thanks for tuning into the Dricks Pod. I hope you liked it. If you didn't, well, it's nonsense. You're not supposed to in the first place. Peace.